Hi everyone, Lisa here at the Mars Hill Art Center, and today I'm going to show you how to make a pinwheel. And you just need some really simple supplies: paper, glue, scissors, a straight pen, and a pencil or an ink pen. So what we're going to do is start with a piece of paper. You can use any kind of paper. You can color on some to make it your own. You can use construction paper. I'm using some old scrapbooking craft paper. But what you want to do first is make sure that it is cut in a perfect square. This is 4 inches by 4 inches. You can make it whatever size you like, but make sure that it is a 4-sided square. So what we'll do first is fold our square into a triangle, one direction, like so. Then open it back up. And now we'll fold it the opposite direction. And what this is doing is giving us some crease lines to use as our guide when we cut. So now we'll open it back up and you see I have 4 lines. Now we'll take our scissors and we will cut up those folds only halfway. So you're going halfway between the center point and the outer corner. So one straight line, just cut halfway. And this is going to be a 4-sided pinwheel, and then I'll show you how to do an 8-sided. So this one will be easy for the little kids. Okay, so now, oops, I got one more. Now we have 4 sides cut. Get your glue stick ready, or if you have just regular Elmer's glue, any glue will work. We will take a corner and fold it into that center point that we made with our fold. And actually, I'm gonna do mine the other way. So you see my paper has color on one side. The way that you fold it is gonna determine what it looks like when you're finished. And so I want my spikes up to have the purple inside. So I'm gonna take this one corner, put a little glue on the top, bend it to the center, and then we're gonna hold that down for a second, let that dry. And we're gonna go clockwise. So we're gonna move to the right. We'll skip that next spike and take the one across. And we'll add a little bit of glue and then hold that down to the center. And so see what that does is it gives us our first little pinwheel, okay? So now the next one, again, we're gonna go to the right or clockwise. So you skip the next spike, move to the one across, add a little glue, glue it down to the center, hold it, let it dry. And now we get to do the last one. Again, move to the right or clockwise, add our glue, and then hold to the center. And now if you have a quarter, or you can use the end of, if you're using a glue stick, you can use the end of a glue stick, but you want to find a circular pattern because we're going to cut a little disc to make for the center of our pinwheel, and a quarter is a great size. So if you have a quarter laying around, we'll use that. And I'm gonna just trace it on a piece of paper. So use my pencil to trace that circle. And I'm gonna cut this circle out. I always cut my paper a little bit smaller so that I can handle it a little easier as I'm cutting around the circle. It's easy to just turn slowly as you cut. And now we will take this center and glue it to the very center of our pinwheel. Like so. We'll let that dry. And now you're probably wondering, how are we going to mount this? What is it going to be on? We're still just going to use paper. But here's what we're going to do. I have already cut a piece of paper about the size of a pencil. That's what I use to measure. And we're going to take this paper and wrap it around the pencil really tight. So this is going to make our post. So we wrap the paper around the pencil. Let's rub on it a little bit so that it stays in a circular shape. And then unroll it just a little bit, and we're going to apply our glue to that outer edge. And then roll it back up. So when you roll it the first time, it helps it get its shape so that when you roll it the second time and it has glue on it, it's easier to adhere to, and it's easier to hold. So now we've made our post. See, it's like a straw, right? But we need to make one more piece. It's gonna be this piece right here. So here's one that I've already done. So we're gonna take another piece of paper, and it's about this big. So you can use that as your guide. It's a couple of inches long by about an inch wide. And we'll do the same exact thing with our pencil. We'll wrap that paper around the pencil so that it gets its shape. Press on it a little bit so that it holds. And then let's add some glue to make that small little circular appendage for our post. All right. I got that one so tight it's almost not coming off. There we go. Okay. So now we have this little piece. So these two are going to go together to make our handle. So you want a stick pin. Just a straight stick pin will work. And we're gonna press it through the very center of our pinwheel. So, like so. Then we're gonna add our little appendage in the back. And then we're gonna stick it through our paper. Be really careful with stick pins. But putting it together in this fashion is what's gonna allow it to spin. Now you don't want it on there too tight. It needs to have a little bit of give. And then you're also gonna have a pin sticking out in the back. And so parents, obviously you don't want your kids to poke themselves with a straight pin. So what I like to do is take either a piece of putty or some wadded up Scotch tape or some extra pieces of paper and just press that over the end of that straight pin so that it protects your little one's fingers. And there you go. There's our 4-spoke pinwheel. Let's see if I can get it to work. There you go. Okay, now I'm gonna show you how to make the 8-spoke. So 4 is good for you. You can stop this video here. So again, I'm gonna use 4 inches by 4 inches. And I'm gonna mark it off with my ruler. And I'm gonna go ahead and cut my circle now. So again, I'm gonna use my quarter. But this time with an 8-spoke, you need 2 discs. So you're gonna trace your quarter or the end of your glue stick 2 times. And then we'll cut those out. The 8-spoke actually has a base and a front. We need a base to glue all of our spikes to. So there's one. And there's two. So with an 8-spoke, we're going to actually cut our squares in half. So you're going to fold once and cut them in half so that we are working with triangles. And you'll need 8 of those. So when we get all of our triangles cut, we have a nice 90-degree angle, okay? So now I'm gonna cut these. Let's pick my colors, see what colors I wanna use. Again, just cutting the square perfectly in half into a triangle. There we go. So now I have all these to choose from. So the first thing that you want to do is take your first triangle and you're gonna glue it to the very center of our disc. So that 90-degree angle right here is what gets glued onto our disc, right in the center. So that's our first one. Now the second one, you're also going to glue that 90-degree corner, but you're gonna use this first triangle as your judge. And you're gonna place it right in the center. So you're basically cutting that first triangle in half, right in the center. So on that 90-degree line. So a little glue in this corner and just right over the top, but making sure that you have that 90-degree line. So we're going to continue this all the way around. Again, using that 90-degree corner. And now you'll see we're starting to develop a pattern here. So each time you place a new triangle, it's going to meet up with its neighbor. So now when I put the one here, it's going to meet up with that neighbor. So now I have 4. Again, they're all meeting in the center and then meeting here. Trying to remember the order of my colors. I want it to be symmetrical, but it doesn't have to be. However you create it is perfect. Somebody's having fun outside. Don't know if you can hear that. Okay, and then our last one. Now this one is a little bit tricky because you want the corner to go under the first one that you did. So you'll place that 90-degree angle, and I have to kind of peel up what I've already glued a little bit. so that it matches its neighbor here, but it's going underneath this one, which was the first one that we did. So there's my pinwheel without the wheels being pinned just yet. So now we'll take our second circle disc that we cut, and it's going to go to the front, but first we have to bend all of our pinwheels down. Almost got ahead of myself there. Okay, so we'll do like we did with our 4 spoke, and we will take that point and glue it down. Gotta let it dry. And this time you're going to take each corner. Each corner is going to get glued down. You're not skipping one this time. Since we cut these into triangles, the spoke that's on the outside stays there and doesn't get glued to the center. So we're using half of each triangle to make our pinwheel center. We'll just continue on around, gluing each little spike down. And you'll see how this looks with two-sided paper. What I'm folding in shows white, but then you see the color on the spike that's on the outside. So if you have two-sided paper, decide which one you want to show where. We get to use math a lot in art and creating. We have to measure, we have to look at angles, which is kind of funny because I'm not good at math. Okay, last one. And now as these dry just a little bit, I'm gonna think about using this little disc that I almost used too soon a minute ago. Put our glue on the back of that and put that at the center of our pinwheel flower. And now for this one, I've already made my stem like I showed you with the 4 spoke. So we're ready to go. Gonna make sure this dries. And now I'm gonna take my straight pin, put it right through the center carefully. Through this little appendage we've created in the back. And you can always judge if you have this cut, if it's too long, you can cut off a little bit more because you want the pin to be able to come all the way through. And then you're gonna mount it on your little stick. And again, use a little bit of putty on the back on that pin if you want to, maybe some wadded up tape, and that'll keep it from poking your little fingers. And there we go. There's your 8-spoke pinwheel. So how fun is that, guys? Make these at home. Create in place. Hi friends, a little add-on here. I wanted to show you a little trick on how to get your pinwheels to stand up. You can either put them in a pot on your front porch, or you can put them in the ground in your flower bed. But if you want them to stand on their own, use a little cup or a little jar and add some dirt to the bottom. And then you'll just put your pinwheel down in that dirt, and that helps hold it up straight. If you put it in a cup on its own, it's like a straw. It's gonna lean to one side, but the dirt helps let it stand up straight. So here you go. I have my 3 right here. Happy pinwheels.